Okay, in this video we're going to go through how to write an extended response. Now I'm going to assume that you've watched the short answer question because this builds on a lot of the stuff that we've already talked about. Because of that, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. I'm also going to use the same question to do our extended response. So this is the checklist that I'm going to be giving you for your extended response questions. You need to make sure that you are writing in full sentences, that you are providing a topic sentence to support your main idea, that you're giving 3 to 5 reasons or explanations to support your main idea. So this is a little bit higher than the short answer questions where we wanted less. You need to make sure that you're including evidence to prove that you're right and link that evidence to your answer. So this was similar to the short answer question again. At this time, you need to consider different perspectives. So you might include and counter arguments that go against yours. So in our short answer, we only looked at the perspective of the peasants. In an extended response, we might look at Lady Jocelyn as an example because she had to have her maid read the letters and write the letters back to William. So that would be looking at education from a different perspective. Or we might also look at counter arguments that go against ours. So an inaccuracy of education is probably Jeff. Jeff is a peasant, but somehow he's educated. We don't really know why, and it's extremely unlikely because we do know that only rich knights and nobles or people from the clergy were educated in medieval times and high up officials. So the odds that Jeff was educated in medieval Europe would be extremely unlikely. So we might try and incorporate that there. Acknowledge that there are times when the movie isn't 100% accurate about education, but that across the board it's pretty onto it. We need to now provide at least 5 sentences. So rather than a maximum of 5 sentences, which was what we were talking about with your short answer, we're going for a paragraph size. So at least 5 sentences. Now, do not waffle on. If your sentences aren't telling me anything, delete them. Get them out of there. I'm talking about at least 5 solid sentences that are clear, concise, and directly respond to the question. Then we need to finish with a concluding sentence this time to wrap up our answer because we've made 3 to 5 reasons. We've included different points of evidence. We might have given a different perspective. So the reader might, be getting a little bit worded out. They've now read a little bit. They might have forgotten what your main point was. So your concluding sentence wraps it all back together and really slaps them in the face to tell them that you are right and everything that you've written here proves that. Okay, so we're going to give that a go. At first, our answer, I'm expecting, will sound very different to our short answer, very similar to our short answer question, but then we'll build on it and extend it out with these other points from the checklist. So I'm going to start straight away with our full sentence topic. This time I'm going to include the perspective of Jeff as a counter argument, so my topic sentence is going to be a tiny bit different because my main idea is a little bit different. A Knight's Tale accurately represents, my writing's terrible, you know this guys, so make sure that yours is better. Knight's Tale accurately represents education in medieval Europe. Education in medieval Europe on most occasions. See how my topic sentence is going to be a little bit different because my main idea is a little bit different now because I'm going to include that criticism of Jeff. A Knight's Tale accurately represents education in medieval Europe on most occasions. However, sometimes it is inaccurate. Now, I'm just going to leave a bit of space here for me so that I can tell where we're going. This is a draft. In my final copy, I wouldn't leave any spaces because we're writing in the same paragraph. But just so that I can show you the different stages that we're going through, I'm going to leave gaps. Do not leave gaps in yours. You do not need them. So our first argument is going to be similar to our short answer question. So why don't I just get that out actually? But we'll just word it a little bit better because I realised after reading my question again that we worded a few things strangely. In the movie, William couldn't read or write. This is accurate because most peasants wouldn't be educated. In medieval times. Only members of the clergy or rich nobles, whoops, I should use a capital N, nobles, knights, because it's a title. I should have used a capital C there too. Only members of the clergy or rich nobles, knights, and officials would be educated. Now, this is where I want to start talking about Jeff because it links on nicely. So far we've got A Knight's Tale accurately represents education in medieval Europe on most occasions. However, sometimes it is inaccurate. In the movie, William couldn't read or write. This is accurate because most peasants wouldn't be educated in medieval times. Only members of the clergy or rich nobles, knights and officials would be educated. The fact that Jeff is extremely unlikely. We see him use complicated words e.g. trudge, and then have to explain them to the other peasants. He's also able to write official documents. This is the only real example inaccuracies though. Lady Jocelyn needs an assistant to write her letters for her. Even though she is a noblewoman, and now for my concluding sentence. Okay, let's see how we've gone for the first draft. Now, like in the short answer question, some things are worded a bit strangely and aren't as good as they can be, and I might waffle on in a sentence or two, but I can refine that and do a good copy afterwards. So let's have a bit of a look at what it's like. A Knight's Tale accurately represents education in medieval Europe on most occasions. However, sometimes it is inaccurate. In the movie, William couldn't read or write. This is accurate because most peasants wouldn't be educated in medieval times. Only members of the clergy or rich nobles, knights and officials would be educated. The fact that Jeff was educated is extremely unlikely. We see him use complicated words, like trudge, and then have to explain them to William and the other peasants. He is also able to write official documents. This is the only real example of inaccuracies, though. Lady Jocelyn needs an assistant to write her letters for her. Even though she is a noblewoman, she is a female and would not have been given an education. So overall, the movie does get some things wrong when representing medieval education, but is generally pretty accurate. So, going through our checklist, have we written in full sentences? Yes, I don't need the question to understand my answer. Have we given a topic sentence to support our main idea? Yes. Tick. Have we given 3 to 5 reasons and explanations to support our main idea? Absolutely. So I've looked at William's inability to read or write as being accurate. We've said that only the clergy or rich nobles, knights and officials would be educated. We've looked at Jeff as an alternative example about how he can read and write and how this isn't really accurate. And we've looked at Lady Jocelyn, and we've focused on the fact that she's a woman and women wouldn't be given an education in medieval Europe. So we've actually put in 5 reasons and explanations to support our main idea. So we've done a very good job there. We'll tick that. Have we included evidence to prove that we're right and linked that evidence to our answer? Absolutely. So we've used observations from the movie, we've used a word from the movie, we've used more observations from the movie, so everything is pretty backed up with evidence. Tick. Have we looked at different perspectives, maybe including encountering arguments that go against ours? Absolutely. We've looked at the perspective of the peasants, we've looked at the perspective of Jeff, we've looked at the perspective of a noblewoman, we've looked at the perspective of a woman generally, and we've included that counter-argument, which is Jeff's ability to read and write as going against the accuracy of the movie. So we've done 10 stars there. Have we provided at least 5 sentences? Yes. We've given a really solid paragraph. We might have done too much. We might have done 1 or 2 sentences too many. But I think that it's been worth it for the depth of answer that we've given. We haven't waffled. Everything's been concise and everything's been necessary to back up our question. So let's give that one a tick. Have we finished with a concluding sentence to wrap up our answer? Overall, the movie does get some things wrong when representing medieval education, but it's generally pretty accurate. That is absolutely a concluding sentence, which backs up our topic sentence, saying that it accurately represents education in medieval Europe on most occasions, and is consistent with all the stuff we've put in there. So if I was marking this, because I'm pretty awesome, I'd give it an E. Run with that checklist, really focus on building on your answers. This tutorial's gone for about 25 minutes, but we wrote that answer in 5 to 10. No reason why you can't get 2 extended response questions of really high quality done in every unit.